Alternator. I've got alternators. This is GM's CS144. The 144 refers to the millimeters. What originally came on this era of Suburbans was this little baby job junk. They used it from 86 and 87 and up. They got a ball bearing in the back. It's garbage. The alternators cook. They catch fire, especially on K5 Blazers in Russia. So I bought this one online from a supposedly reputable alternator seller. I'm not very happy. This hole is drilled like a big egg, and I have no idea why they would drill it so big, because this is only the reinforcement. It doesn't do a lot. Now I just re-drilled this one that I got from the flap, friendly local auto parts, for $110. This one was $200. I don't know how many amps it is, but it's twice the size of the one that originally came on the Suburban and that Suburban. But to put it on, you got to modify the bracket. I don't think this one has the bracket installed. You got to modify the bracket because this one's flat in the back. The other alternator has a needle bearing, back to the 60s style needle bearing like Corvairs used. So I cut and chopped and welded the back bracket to accommodate that big bearing. Magnetic. So I don't want to go back to the old style. So I dug this one out of a pile from a transport minivan, 3.4 liter, and I didn't notice till the very end that the lugs are at 180 degrees to each other, top and bottom, so it won't work. They've got to be 90 degrees to each other, or 60 degrees. So I went to the auto parts, looked through the catalog for an hour, and I finally found this style. And luckily the plug is the same, because they listed a P plug for the trucks, and it says non-interchangeable. They had different amperage ratings of these, but I ended up buying this one. I don't know how many amps it is. I'm sure it's more than enough. I don't run no big blaster stereo or an electric snowplow. So I don't know why the guy drilled this hole, like a friggin' mangled hole. Probably because he didn't have a drill press with a guide. I just used a piece of steel on the back to support it 3 inches. It's exactly 3 inches from the bearing to here. And I drilled my hole perfectly. But it doesn't have much bearing on how the alternator works, because the bottom one is what mounts to the big block support. But still, when I looked down this thing, it was crooked. So this one goes back. This one goes back into my pile of junk. And how many amps is that one? I have the report, and I also have to report that this bearing has to be pressed out on a big press or use a mega slide hammer on the truck. So I took this thing off maybe for nothing. Went to my local machine shop at 5:45, and he was closed for the day. Usually he stays late, but he wasn't there anymore. So I can put a pipe in here to press that thing up, but how do you support it? Build a frame and an angle iron and take 2 hours, and then I got to dismantle it because I got no place to store it here. I got so much junk. So I'm going to put the $110 alternator on. I'm not going to send them back the exact core, but they won't know. They're big and fat and ugly. Local auto parts stores. Well, here's something else. Monster pulley. Look at the size of that pulley. This is a small pulley. I remember that. Huck This 1971 told me they put a smaller pulley on to make it spin faster. A bigger pulley makes it spin slower. They put a smaller pulley on. I think it's supposed to take a bigger pulley because the tachometer runs off the alternator. Yet they put a smaller pulley on.
For one, even though parents couldn't afford a TV.
They put a smaller, there's something running out there, some stationary motor. I have no idea what it is. Sounds like a big tree shredder. Right there. No clue. Lots of neighbors. Anyhow. I talked to the guy and I said, you should have told me you're giving me a smaller pulley. Sure, it has better off-idle performance or idle performance, but it runs my tack, so 2 1/4 inches. And this one is 2 3/8, a fraction bigger. And this one, from a V6 van, is 2 5/8. I think this is the proper pulley. You can't change it when it's on the vehicle because you can't get the impact gun in there to spin it off. There's lots of bolts holding it on, so which one do I use? Small one? Too small? Just right? Or too large? Yeah, they're cutting something up out there. Tree fall down. They're doing tree trimming at 6:30 at night. Anybody need some nursing books? Got some right there. Nursing, essentials, pediatric nursing. Wow. Found them in the dumpster. Alrighty. Let's see if I can get to the machine shop tomorrow and get that bearing pressed out of there. Mega job. Mega puller. Look it up. Monster puller. Mega puller. Mega hammer puller.